This video is brought to you by Opera, the revolutionary browser that transforms your digital experience into something faster, safer, and remarkably intuitive. Download it completely free, using the exclusive link waiting in the description below. Imagine this: simply by reaching your 20th birthday, you've already achieved something more extraordinary than 93% of all humans who have ever drawn breath. You've accumulated more sunrises, more heartbeats, more moments of consciousness than the vast majority of our species has ever experienced throughout the entire sweep of human history. Here's a number that will reshape how you see yourself: 117 billion. That's our best estimate of every modern human who has ever existed on this planet. Of that staggering total, 8 billion are breathing, thinking, and dreaming right alongside you in 2024. This means something absolutely mind-bending. Roughly 7% of everyone who has ever been human is alive right now, sharing this moment in time with you. The transformation has been breathtaking. Our global population has exploded, particularly over the past 2 centuries. Picture 1800, just 8 generations ago, when only 1 billion people called Earth home. That's 8 times fewer than today's bustling world. Journey back 2 millennia to the year 1 CE, and you'll find a planet inhabited by nearly 300 million souls. That's barely more than the population growth we've witnessed in just the last 4 years, roughly equivalent to modern Sufte, Indonesia's entire population. Push further into antiquity, to 8000 BCE, and the entire human population shrinks to around 5 million people. Imagine that. The entire world's population was smaller than present-day St. Petersburg, Russia. The whole of human civilization could have fit into a single modern metropolitan area, with nearly 10% of all humans throughout history existing right now. Logic suggests that most of our species lived within the recent past. But here's where intuition fails us spectacularly. According to exhaustive research by the Population Reference Bureau, over half of all humans who have ever existed, approximately 60 billion people, lived and died before the year 100 CE. Roughly 2,000 years ago or earlier. How is this mathematically possible? How could 60 billion people have existed in those ancient times when populations numbered in the millions rather than billions? The answer reveals one of history's most heartbreaking truths. Most people died as children. Today, we expect to live approximately 73 years on average. Life expectancy represents the average number of years a population can anticipate living, calculated by analyzing mortality rates across all age groups. These rates tell us how many people die per unit of time within specific age brackets. For perspective, in 2020, American males between 20-5 and 30-4 faced a mortality rate of 0.221%. That means out of 100,000 men in that age group, approximately 220-1 would die within a single year. Newborn American males under 1 year old faced nearly triple that risk at 0.057%. While childhood mortality remains relatively elevated compared to other age groups under 40, it pales in comparison to historical rates that were nothing short of catastrophic. The renowned historian Yuval Noah Harari illuminates this tragedy in his groundbreaking work, Sapiens. As humans transitioned to agricultural settlements, children increasingly consumed grain-based diets instead of nutrient-rich breast milk. Competition among siblings for limited food resources intensified. Disease spread rapidly through crowded communities. The result was devastating. In most agricultural societies, at least 1 in every 3 children died before their 20th birthday. The Human Mortality Database reveals even starker realities. In 1750 Bavaria, Germany, nearly 275 years ago, half of all children perished before reaching 15. 2,000 years earlier, in Roman Egypt around 1 CE, nearly 60% of children died before their 15th birthday. During these eras, childhood death wasn't exceptional, it was the expected norm. These crushing mortality rates drove overall life expectancy as low as 10 years in some societies. Populations remained small, not because few children were born, but because so many died before contributing to future generations. Paradoxically, birth rates in these earlier periods often exceeded today's numbers by 5 times or more. In 1750 Bavaria, the average woman bore 5 to 7 children, compared to modern Germany's 1 to 2 children per woman. Throughout the pre-modern era, 4.5 to 7 children per woman was standard, yet since most children never survived to adulthood, even high birth rates barely managed to outpace death rates, keeping populations stagnant. This means billions upon billions of humans existed briefly in ages long past, their potential unrealized, their stories unwritten. Today, thanks to revolutionary advances in global health, medical science, technology, and human understanding, childhood mortality, for those 15 and under, hovers around just 4% globally. The average human can expect to live 70-3 years. The vast majority of newborns will survive infancy and childhood to experience decades of adult life. Most of us will witness 50 to 60 more years than the typical human throughout history ever imagined possible. Most of us aren't supposed to be here. We weren't supposed to experience this intricate world we've constructed and continuously reshape. We weren't meant to exist this long, to accumulate this much experience, to witness this much change and possibility. Yet here we are. To exist within the last 2,000 years and survive to adulthood represents something we casually accept as normal, but is historically extraordinary. Throughout the vast expanse of human experience, early death in antiquity was the standard, brief lives in ancient worlds we can barely comprehend. From history's perspective, each of us represents an extremely unlikely outcome, granted an unbelievably unique experience of existence that defies the odds. Half of all humans who ever lived never encountered mechanical clocks, toilet paper, eyeglasses, playing cards, the printing press, pianos, electricity, electric lights, carbonated beverages, engines, automobiles, aircraft, rockets, or simple buttons. They never learned about our solar system, distant galaxies, the rise of Christianity, Islam, or atheism. They never grasped concepts of gravity, space-mice time, or used touchscreens and video games, technologies that seem mundane to us. Half of all humans throughout history likely couldn't read or write. They had virtually no choice in where they lived, or what they did, which was almost certainly farming wherever they happened to be born. Most humans who ever existed never experienced what it feels like to celebrate a 20th birthday, let alone reach 30, 40, 50, or beyond. To exist at all represents a profound wonder. To exist as a conscious human being amplifies that wonder exponentially. To exist as a human now, capable of experiencing everything we can and do, able to live as long as we typically do, transcends comprehension entirely. We're experiencing things previously considered impossible, made possible through pure human ingenuity, determination, creativity, and yes, sometimes naive optimism and beneficial ignorance of limitations. Consider what we've accomplished. For better and worse. There's no denying the remarkable capabilities of humankind. Every 30-something boarding a plane to a vacation destination, watching movies or reading books, while casually aware of gravitational forces and solar mechanics, conscious of the diverse landscapes passing below them, able to contemplate where and why they might travel somewhere or pursue something new, with credit cards and health insurance neatly tucked in their pockets to address nearly any moderate health issue that might arise, represents a living, breathing example that miracles are real and created by human hands and minds. Humanity functions as a godlike force, forging this reality for itself. We've become the unlikely beneficiaries of our species' collective labor across generations. We easily critique, and sometimes squander, what we possess. Admittedly, there's much deserving criticism and many reasons for frustration. But considering occasionally how absolutely insane it is that we not only exist as self-made aware humans, but exist during this particular chapter of human history, when we'll likely witness 30, 40, 50, maybe even 100 or more years, when we can measure time precisely in minutes and seconds, wipe with soft paper, see clearly with corrective lenses, play cards with friends, mass produce and distribute books, listen to pianists, control electric lighting, drink carbonated beverages, drive automobiles, fly in aircraft, launch rockets into space, press buttons that activate complex systems, understand increasingly more about outer and inner space, and share and comprehend ideas like these at a global scale. We created all these innovations, opportunities, and knowledge from Earth's raw materials and our collective intelligence. We literally created them from nothing. We awakened into this reality's conditions and declared, "Not good enough. How about this instead?" The world serves as fertile soil for innovation, and humanity functions as both planter and harvester of wonder's fruits, and unfortunately, destruction's fruits as well. We've damaged our world and ourselves in numerous ways. Perhaps our next great innovations will include the wisdom to conduct innovation itself more responsibly, to not only live long, richly decorated lives, but also good, sustainable ones that honor both our potential and our planet. As Harari suggests, humanity's next targets are likely to be immortality, happiness, and divinity. Having reduced mortality from starvation, disease, and violence, we will now aim to overcome old age and even death itself. Having saved people from abject misery, we will now aim to make them positively happy, and having raised humanity above the beastly level of survival struggles, we will now aim to upgrade humans into gods. Never in history have humans possessed such access to vast information and media. We can learn and accomplish more with button presses than humans not long ago could even imagine possible. Whether working, learning, or consuming entertainment online, one of our most fundamental tools remains our web browser. However, default browsers often transform our workflow into something chaotic, distracting, and inefficient, cluttered with countless tabs, windows, and plugins. That's where Opera, this video's sponsor, revolutionizes your browsing into a cleaner, more efficient, safer, and more aesthetically pleasing experience, packed with incredible features. Multiple tabs and windows open simultaneously are often inevitable and necessary. With Opera, however, I can effortlessly organize tabs into tab islands based on contextual relationships, then save space by collapsing them into color-minus, coordinated, manageable elements. Additionally, you can maintain tabs in separate workspaces, seamlessly switching between them with single clicks at Opera's sidebar top. This effectively organizes your browsing and creates more efficient, focused work sessions. Opera's native AI assistant, Aria, further amplifies your browsing efficiency. Ask Aria any question and receive instant, clear answers. Highlight terms on web pages and have Aria explain them in detail. For entire web pages requiring deeper explanation, simply press Ctrl or Command, and Aria will summarize the complete page content. This dramatically enhances research and work efficiency by providing surface-level information and understanding that guides your browsing in productive directions without time waste. Even more impressive is Aria's image interpretation capability, which provides information and answers questions based on uploaded images, like identifying monuments or buildings in your photographs and providing relevant details. Beyond that, Opera includes numerous other incredible features, requiring no additional plugins at zero extra cost. It offers a built-in free VPN for enhanced security, an adjustable ad blocker for cleaner article displays, and an incredibly convenient dynamic sidebar where you can keep music players, social media platforms, and messengers accessible without switching windows or tabs. Opera delivers superior security, richer features, better organization, superior design, and far cleaner functionality compared to default browsers, completely free to download using my link in the description. It's absolutely worth trying and will save your brain considerable headaches. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.